What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. So as you've seen in today's title of the video, we are going to be putting cow tracks on the LML. I've seen a few videos on like LBZs and little cat eye trucks, little single cab shit like that. I haven't seen any videos of people installing them on an LML. I've seen LMM, as far up in the years, but not LML. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little install video if anybody's curious. I haven't seen it on YouTube, so we're just gonna be figuring it out as we go. Calvert Racing does give some good instructions. They're color coded because y'all know we can't read. Guys, just fucking look at pictures, so they're pretty good with pictures. So we're gonna go ahead and get it jacked up, and me and my dad's gonna go ahead and tackle it because we like to wrench together on the weekend, so we can have some fun in doing it. So let's get it. All right, guys. So first thing, you got to jack your truck up. What I like to do, and everybody's different. People can use jack stands, whatever. I don't have jack stands, so I use blocks. I jack up the back at least 3 6x6 tall because that's what works for the height of my truck. Jack it up underneath the hitch, and then I use a separate jack and work it on the eyelets of where the shocks go. So first thing I did, undid my shock, pulled the tires off, at least one side. I like to do one side at a time. And the first thing you're gonna do is you want to undo the first bolt on the front eye of your leaf spring. Now on the LMMs you actually have a separate nut on the back side, and I think you have to hold back up. But on the LMLs, you actually have this wing right here. Oh, let me see if y'all can see that. There you go. You actually have a wing. You do not have to hold back up. It actually holds itself. So we're gonna back that off first, and then after that, we're gonna go ahead and undo the U-bolts, and then we'll proceed from there. Alright guys, so I got the eye loosened up. I just gotta pop it out. Got the bolts off of the bottom of the U-bolt, the little perch. Put that aside because we're not gonna use that anymore. We actually use the one that Calvert Racing provided. So now we're gonna go ahead and lower the jack, where I can take this bolt out and lower the eye. Then we're gonna go ahead and press the bushing out. We're gonna go ahead and put in Caltrac solid bushing. So we're gonna do that real quick. Alright, so now that we got our U-bolts loose, ready for the Caltrac perch, we got this down. That's what your bolt's gonna look like when you take it out of your front eyes. Go ahead and put your wing nut back on it so you don't lose it. And now we're gonna work on drilling this bushing out. Plan is to go ahead and drill some holes in the rubber, and then we got an air hammer. We're gonna go ahead and push it out the back side. Now you see this side, you don't have no lip, but you got that little bitty metal ring in there. But because you have a flange on the back side, so you're gonna have to push it from outside to inside because you're not gonna push it the other way back. And don't forget, when you take your tire off, go ahead and put it under the frame, that way it don't smush you. So always remember, safety third. Alright guys, so went ahead, took the drill. You can see I just got like a little 1/8 inch bit on it, nothing special, it don't have to be a specific size. But I went ahead and I drilled a shitload of little holes. I tried to get the middle of the bushing, some on the edge of this, some on the edge of that ring. So now we're gonna go ahead and heat it up with a torch, heat up the eye, that way it comes out easier, and then we'll go ahead and try to air hammer it out. So after drilling it out, we used MAP gas, heat up the eyelet. We tried a little bit with the air hammer, it's just not enough. So we went ahead and stepped it up about 3 times bigger on the bit, and we're gonna actually continue drilling out the bushing and then try to push it out, because the bushings are really, really tight now. Alright guys, so we got the eyelet out. That's what it looks like. We ended up having to heat it up like cherry red, like really hot to melt the rubber. And then we just kept pushing through all the rubber. Like right here, we just kept pushing. And then finally the center eyelet just pushed out the backside. So now we still got that outer sleeve. So now we're gonna go ahead and work our way out of there and see how that does. Alright, so I just got the rest of the rubber out. As you can see, I still have this here sleeve. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to hit it with the air hammer. We're just using a little cheap little $35 one from Lowe's. I got my big Rollair air compressor and a volume tank on it. It's doing just fine. So let me go ahead and see if I can crush this little sleeve out. I'm gonna go ahead and take some sandpaper, kind of clean this up real good in here. And then when we put that solid bushing, you're gonna want to I watched a few videos. The little bit of grease that Caltrax provides you isn't enough. The bushings will squeak and make noise. So you want to put a lot of grease. So maybe pick you up like some heavy duty grease or just whatever you want to use. I got some heavy duty bearing grease I think I'm gonna use in there. So just to give y'all a little heads up. Alright, so we finally got it out. There's the sleeve. So what we ended up having to do was come in through the back of the eye right there, just enough gap that leaves you for a Sawzall blade. So we took a Milwaukee metal Sawzall blade, the carbide teeth, went ahead and sliced it, and it actually gave it enough relief, and then it crushed and it went out. So now we're gonna go ahead and put in our solid bushings from Calvert, and we got our instructions here. So what they say is make sure you do not use a hammer. So we're gonna get some grease and use a hammer. Alright guys, so we put a bunch of grease on our bushing. Now we're gonna go ahead and try to tap it in. Sure it's gonna be fun. Alright guys, so we got the solid bushing in and the little bushing on the bracket. What we actually had to do was take the whole leaf off. So I just undid the bottom bolt on the back eye and took the leaf off, placed it on something hard, and actually got a chance to press it in versus trying to tap it. So we got it in, greased it up real good from the back side, finished pushing it through. Then you got to slide your bracket up and then put your center bushing. Once you put all that in together, then you slide it up as a unit and then run your bolt in. Alright guys, so we finished the install. I didn't really video much of after what I told y'all just now about the bracket, just because we actually had to kind of put the camera down and get with it because it did fight us a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and walk y'all through everything. And we actually found the easiest way to do it. It's a little bit different than the video that I had watched to do it. Because it took us 2.5 hours to do the passenger side and 15 minutes to do the driver's side. So go ahead and give y'all a little tip and save y'all some headache. So what we have here is the old bushing that we pushed out, right? Well, what you want to do is go ahead, I don't know how good y'all can see, I hope y'all can see that good. Drill the shit out of that bushing. What you want to do is get the biggest drill bit, and buy extra because this shit happens. But get the biggest drill bit that you can fit between those two metal pieces and drill you as many holes as you can, because that relieves the center bushing right here. And then what you want to do is, watch this. I got an old leaf right here to show y'all. You have just enough gap. You're not gonna have this much gap because this is a bent leaf from when I got in a wreck, but this is almost touching this. So when this bushing is sitting in here like this, you can take I took a metal Milwaukee carbide blade, and you can fit your Sawzall after you drill your holes in here. Take your Sawzall blade along this spring and cut straight down. And what that does is it relieves this outer bushing, and since you drilled the holes, it actually lets this sleeve compress. And after that, we literally took a screwdriver and a hammer and it just fell right out. So I've watched many videos where they do this and they use an air hammer. The air hammer did not work for us. It fought us a good bit. And then we actually ended up doing a fucking trigger delete on the damn air hammer, broke it and all kind of shit. We used some MAP gas and we heated the eye up a lot. Now that did help, taking the old bushing out and putting a new bushing in. Just around here, we just heated the shit out of it. And I mean, that helped. So what we'll do is go ahead and look at the truck. I'll go ahead and walk through everything with y'all real quick. But I just wanted to let y'all know, definitely use heat on that eye. And for sure, and I can't stress enough, use a Sawzall, dude, because you're going to fucking struggle for no reason. Use a Sawzall, slide it around that spring, cut down that eye, and you will save yourself hours of time. But let's go ahead and look at the install real quick. Alright, so this is finished product. We got the I guess U-boat cradle, whatever the hell you want to call that. This piece right here. So basically, start to finish process. You like I said, I showed y'all I jacked up on the back of the hitch, put my blocks on the back. Then what I did was I took my shocks out right here. That way those could hang down, and I actually put my jack under there, and that's where I operate my jack. Then I take my tires off, put my tire under here for safety. And then after that, what I did was I undid my U-bolts. I took this bolt out right here, and I let the jack down. It lets everything down, gets the stress off of it. Then I took the bottom bolt out of my, you got your shackle in the back. You take your bottom bolt out, you bring it up, and you turn that leaf upside down, and it's gonna come right out. Then what we did was we took the leaf, laid it down on the concrete, heated it up, drilled it, pressed it out like I showed y'all, put the new bushing in. Now I will give y'all a little tip. That new solid bushing is very, very tight. You will not just push it in there like the instructions say. Maybe your leaf springs, mine didn't. We had to beat the shit out of them. But what I did was I added a little Dremel. Looks like a little die grind or whatever. And I had a 80 grit sandpaper bit. What I did was I took that drum and I put the slightest little polished bevel on one side, and I put some grease on it. And then we put the one side of leaf spring against the concrete, and then used the other side and just lightly tapped it in there with a big socket, an 1.25 inch socket. That way I wouldn't mess up the inside of the bushing. Put it on there, tapped it till it went flush, and then you come to this part right here. Once you got that little eye just sitting there, you're gonna put your bracket over it, and then you're gonna go ahead and slide your inner bushing in there. So once you got your solid bushing, your bracket, and your inner bushing, you're gonna slide that up right here in this bracket, feed your bolt in there, tighten it up, and then you're gonna want to leave enough slack on this to where this can move, because you want to leave a little gap before you preload it. And once you got that in, you go ahead and hook your back up as well. Hook your U-bolts up. Now we'll give you a tip because y'all probably gonna struggle. Your U-bolts are actually gonna be kind of flared out like this, so it is a bitch to get that bottom bracket on there, because the holes right here are gonna be a little smaller than your U-bolts. Actually, I took 2 hands and squeezed while my dad pushed up, and the bracket actually went on there, but it was a bitch. So just be prepared for that. We tried tapping the U-bolts to kind of close them. It wasn't happening, so pretty much I just had to squeeze it and let them go in there. But once we got all that bolted up, line the little center pin up right here underneath the spring, then we put the tire back on, let the weight sit on the truck. And before I get too far, I will say that you do have to unbolt this this joint right here. Just completely take the eyelet off. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your bar, you're gonna screw this bar all the way up. Take your little eyelet, because it'll be in your hand, it's not gonna be in a bracket no more. You're gonna screw it all the way up until it bottoms out on this bar down there. And then you're gonna unscrew this. That way, when you're unscrewing it, and remember this is reverse thread, when you're unscrewing it, it's gonna lengthen it up enough to where you can get that eyelet in there, and then you'll be good. And then once you do that, these little rollers, they move like this, right? So what you wanna do is, you wanna tighten up on your bar until it stops, this roller touches, and then you wanna go a half turn and then lock your jam nuts, and that's how you preload it. So hopefully that helps y'all. If y'all have an LML, y'all want to install Caltrax on, because I watched a bunch of LBZ, regular cat eye, half tons, and LMM videos, but I could not find LML videos. And they are a little bit different because these LMLs do have a box frame, so the bottom bracket's a little bit different. So hopefully that helps y'all get everything good to go. And if y'all have any questions or anything, drop it in the comments. I'll answer it the best that I can. Please drop a like, subscribe if y'all don't mind. Thank y'all for watching.